The chamber was designed to intimidate. Transparent alloy walls rose 3 stories high, reinforced with gravlocks and suppression fields. On the far side, elevated like judges in an ancient colosseum, the Varkai Hunt Council watched in satisfied silence. Their bodies were layered in dense obsidian plates, forearms folded neatly, mandibles flexing with restrained excitement. At the center of the room stood the human. Lieutenant Mara Vance. Her wrists were bound behind her back, posture straight despite the restraints, eyes calm in a way that unsettled the observers. Most prey cried. Some begged. A few screamed until their voices broke. The human did none of those things. You understand your role, intoned the hunt marshal, its translator grinding the words into harsh English. You exist to instruct our young. You will demonstrate the final moments of prey. Mara tilted her head slightly. So I'm teaching a class. A ripple of clicking amusement spread through the council. Mockery is common among doomed species, the marshal replied. You are small. Soft. Your kind survives by deception and tools. Here, those will fail you. A pedestal rose from the floor between them. Resting on it were 3 items, arranged with ritual care. An M4 pattern rifle. A single loaded magazine. A combat knife, plain and worn. 30 rounds, the marshal said. And a blade. We grant you what your people revere. A sporting chance. Mara's eyes flicked to the weapon, then back to the alien. And if I refuse? The marshal leaned forward, mandibles spreading. Then the younglings learn nothing. The restraints released with a sharp hiss. Mara stepped forward, rolled her shoulders once, and picked up the rifle. Her movements were unhurried, efficient. She checked the chamber. Counted the magazine by weight alone. Slid the knife into its sheath. You're very confident, she said quietly. We are Apex, the marshal replied. 7 systems conquered. No prey has ever left the labyrinth alive. Mara nodded slowly. Then let's make this educational. The floor beneath her feet split apart, revealing a descending platform of black stone. Cold air rose from below, carrying the smell of old blood and ancient dust. The labyrinth awaited. As she descended into shadow, none of the hunters noticed the detail that mattered most. The human never asked how big the maze was. The labyrinth swallowed sound. Its walls were carved from ancient stone, narrow corridors branching endlessly under dim bioluminescent veins. The place was built for the hunt, tight turns, sudden drops, blind corners meant to trap fleeing prey and funnel them into waiting claws. Mara moved through it like a ghost. She didn't run. Didn't panic. She followed the left wall, counting steps, memorizing airflow, noting how sound traveled. She ignored the rifle on her back entirely. The younglings entered with noise. Excited clicks echoed down the tunnels as the juvenile Varkai spread out, claws scraping stone, weapons clutched awkwardly in eager hands. They whispered to one another, voices loud with anticipation. They had never hunted anything that hunted back. Mara chose her ground carefully, a narrow intersection where 3 corridors met, shadows pooling thick and deep. She pressed herself into a natural recess and waited. Minutes passed. Then the first youngling stepped into reach. Mara moved. The knife slid between armor plates with practiced precision, finding the vulnerable joint beneath the mandible. The body went slack instantly, surprise frozen on alien features that never understood what went wrong. She dragged it into shadow and became still again. The second followed. Then the third. No gunfire. No screams. Each kill was close. Quiet. Personal. The lesson was deliberate. By the 7th body, the remaining younglings sensed something was wrong. One turned, mandibles flaring, and tried to signal an alarm. Mara's hand clamped over its mouth. Too loud, she whispered, and ended it. Above the maze, panic spread through the observation chamber. Life signs vanished one by one. No pursuit markers. No fleeing signals. "This is impossible," one counselor hissed. "They are children." "They were hunters," the marshal snapped, though uncertainty crept into its tone. "Send the veterans." The gates opened again. This time, the footsteps were measured. Disciplined. Dangerous. Mara heard them coming and finally reached for the rifle. The veterans moved correctly. Spacing. Angles. Overlapping fields of vision. They had learned silence. Mara respected that. She also knew it wouldn't be enough. She chose the corridor where the stone narrowed into a natural choke point, barely wide enough for two Varkai abreast. She knelt, braced the rifle against the stone, slowed her breathing. When the first armored head entered the kill zone, she fired. 7 shots. 7 hits. Center mass. Weak joints. Neural clusters. The rifle thundered through the maze, and the illusion shattered. The hunters realized the truth all at once. This wasn't prey. This was doctrine. They scattered, abandoning formation, fear overriding training. Mara advanced immediately, never rushing, never wasting motion. She used sound, shadow, and the enemy's own instincts against them. When they stalked, she ambushed. When they fled, she outpaced them. When they tried to regroup, she was already behind them. The rifle went silent again as she switched back to the knife. Steel did the rest. Above, the council dissolved into chaos. "Seal the labyrinth," the marshal ordered. "Evacuate." Too late. Mara emerged near the exit just as the final surviving Varkai stumbled against the sealed door, weapon discarded, breath hitching in raw terror. She stopped 3 meters away. 23 rounds remained in the magazine. "You gave me 30, she said calmly. "Do you know what that means to a human soldier?" The alien trembled, plates rattling. "It means restraint," Mara continued. "It means choices." She stepped aside and keyed the door open. "Go," she said. "Live with the lesson." The survivors' testimony broke their species. Within 1 solar cycle, the Varkai High Conclave issued the forbidden apex decree. Humanity was designated Category Black. Do not hunt. Do not test. Do not provoke. Entire trade routes were altered. Colonies abandoned. Military simulations quietly erased. The young were taught a new lesson. Some prey wears the mask of weakness. Some species survives not by fleeing, but by deciding when to kill, and when not to. And humanity? Humanity never noticed. Mara Vance returned to her unit. Filed her report. Cleaned her knife. Somewhere in the dark, an entire species whispered their name in fear. Because the final mistake was never giving her the weapon. It was believing she needed it.